So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me, it's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
I want to give a brief introduction to Marcy before I bring her on. Typically with these book chats, we've done debut authors or early career authors. Marcy being an exception, she is a very well-established, published author, but she is also a founding member of 12 by 12. And we are in our 12th year this year. So she has been a member of 12 by 12 since the very beginning. She is a dear friend, and she is an amazing writer with such a wide range. She'll be reading Survivor Tree to you today, but as you can see, she has punny books, she's got character-driven books. She is now an editor with Epic, so she is working on comics and graphic novels, and she's also an award-winning chapter book author with the Super Happy Party Bears books, and she teaches on faculty at the Writing Barn and Storyteller Academy, and she's done webinars for 12 by 12. And quite honestly, I can't think of anything Marcy hasn't done or isn't good at. I don't want to overblow it, but she's definitely one of my favorite people in this business. And so Marcy, if you want to come on camera, I am going to just put this up here for a quick second.
Thank you, Julie. And I'm so thrilled to be able to be here with the 12 by 12 family, because you guys really are family. And I haven't done any events on September 11th with this book. And I can't think of a better way to do that than with a very comforting and supportive group like 12 by 12. Thank you, Julie and Kelly, for giving me this opportunity. Survivor Tree, written by Marcie, Colleen, illustrated by Caldecott Honor winner Aaron Becker, and published by Little Brown Books for young readers. And this book is dedicated from Aaron and myself for us all. May peace and hope grow from the darkest of our days. A tree stood steel straight and proud at the foot of the towers that filled its sky. It grew mostly unnoticed, silently marking the seasons. In wintertime, the tree's bare bones stretched tall, reaching for the freezing bright blue above. Come spring, white flowers blossomed, piles of petals scattered as people rushed by. Glossy green leaves announced the arrival of summer, casting polka-dotted shade on the sidewalk. In fall, the tree blazed red with a million hearts before each took off in an elegant dance. And so it went for almost 30 years. Winter, spring, summer, fall, bare, white, green, red. Winter, spring, summer, fall. One September day, the perfect blue sky exploded. Under the blackened remains, the tree lay crushed and burned. Workers dug through the wreckage and discovered unexpected green. The tree was taken far from the smoldering landscape to fresh soil, where its shattered stump encountered a different sky.
So this was, at least at the time, was a pretty big departure for you from the kind of books that you were normally writing and had published, like Penguinaut and Love Triangle, that were humorous, humor and heart, wordplay, puns, character driven. I think we know why this story was important to you, but how did you go about knowing how to, or learning how to shift the voice and the story style so much to accommodate a topic this huge.
The thing is, I heard about the survivor tree through an op-ed that was in the New York Times, probably in about 2015. So we're looking at about 14 years after the tragedy. And I heard about it, and there wasn't a doubt in my mind the second that I heard the story that I was like, this needs to be a picture book. And at that point, I was only writing picture books. And I was like, this needs to be a picture book. But then for the next year, I told myself that I was not the person to write it, that I didn't know how to write it, that it was too big for me, that I was going to be the punny picture book lady. Obviously, I can't dethrone Tara Lazar. So she stays the punny picture book lady. And I would once in a while be reminded of this story and how this story needed to be a picture book. The weird thing is that this, if you've read Big Magic by Liz Gilbert, absolutely love that book. And I do believe that ideas are out there and they're physically looking for somebody to bring them to fruition. And this idea not only haunted me, but it also stalked me. I remember once I was sitting at an outdoor bar here in San Diego. I'd already left New York City, and I was talking to an author friend, and she asked me what I was working on, and I was telling her what I was working on. And then I said, I've heard this story that I think needs to be a book, and I want to write it, but I think I can't. And so I told her the whole story of the survivor tree. And she said, you need to write that. And I said, I know, I don't know how. I'm not a nonfiction writer. I'm not a poet. I feel like it needs to be lyrical. It needs to be beautiful writing. And I just don't think I have it. And we got up from the table where we were, and we started walking through Balboa Park. And all of a sudden I looked to the left of me, and there was a Callery pear tree. It was the first time I had ever seen one in San Diego, and it was in full white flower bloom. And I said, oh my goodness, Betsy, this is one of the trees. This is the kind of tree that the survivor tree is. And she said, it's a sign, you have to write it. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're right, you're right. And so later on that night, I was telling my husband this story, and we were walking into Balboa Park. And right about the time that we were about ready to turn around, we turned around. I had just finished telling him the story, and I looked, and everywhere my eye could see were just flowering Callery pear trees everywhere. And I was like, I'm supposed to write this story. I have to at least give it a shot. Luckily, I had the picture book boot camp coming up with Jane Yolen at Jane Yolen's house. And I thought, if anybody will help me be able to write this, it will be Jane Yolen. And so I'm going to force myself to write a draft to submit to Jane Yolen. And that's scary because I think my very first reader was Jane Yolen and Heidi Stemple. And I was just, I'm going to throw this out there and just see what happens. And so I submitted it to them, and then they helped give me some feedback to continue to work on it while I was there. But yeah, I really, for a long time, just kept on telling myself, this is not my story. I don't want to center myself on September 11th. I don't want to become some sort of spokesperson for September 11th. I want to be in a hole on September 11th. But it stalked me, and I had to write it.
Yeah, I would say certainly you are a nonfiction writer and a poet at this point. And because the book is just so perfectly spare and lyrical and such a light touch, but with so much power. And I wanted to ask if by writing this book, has it changed the way you've approached additional writing? Are you more inclined to write lyrical books or nonfiction, or was this kind of a one-off?
I feel like trying to label myself as a punny picture book lady at the very beginning of my career, I've now realized that the only thing that I can be is Marcy Colleen, and the things that light my soul and make me excited and make me laugh. And so I try to follow that curiosity to any of the projects that I'm going to write. It was important to me. I knew that this needed to sound like poetry from the very beginning. And so that was one of the things that kind of held me back at the same time that I was struggling to get the words down. I know Aaron Becker said one of the things that really took him with the script is that I seem to somehow leave out all proper nouns. I don't mention World Trade Center. I don't mention people's names. I don't mention locations. I tried to keep it as open and as light as possible. One of the things that I did to try to tap into that lyrical language is that I did take the lyrical language lab with Renee Latualip, which I know a lot of us have taken. And that very first line, the tree stood still straight and proud at the foot of the towers that filled its sky, was written in that. I think what I learned about myself as a writer is that I can write serious lyrical topics and it's still wordplay. I can still play around with words, that it's a different kind of wordplay. I'm not funny and punny, but it's all wordplay. And I love just finding that perfect word. And if anything, this experience has just let me know that it's okay to just keep following my curiosity and write whatever lights me on fire.
Do it together, so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting. Look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12. 12 manuscripts. 12 by 12. 12 picture books. 12 by 12.